Hey y'all, so I really love this topic and all the ideas you've presented and could talk for hours about it, but here goes. So I never really grew up doing Lent and didn't observe it until college. And I never really understood the whole give up chocolate and then eat a giant chocolate bunny on Easter thing. It just doesn't do much for me. And I feel like Lent should be a time to move back to God and stay that way, to turn back around, to metanoiate, to use a phrase my pastor says all the time, which is Greek. And since Lent is at the beginning of springtime, I see it as a time of renewal. And that's why I love the idea of fasting from indifference. That's the thing that we could continue to do after Lent is over. We're not going to get to Easter Sunday and then start being indifferent. And obviously Jesus didn't hate, but he also wasn't indifferent. He didn't rebuke the woman at the well, but he also didn't just walk past her. And one thing that I think would help, and I'm trying to work on, is getting back to a more childlike faith of innocence and wonder and excitement. And so at my church, there's a Chinese church that also meets there and in their own service. And they came to our Ash Wednesday service, which was likely their first ever Ash Wednesday service. And just their excitement and all of getting ashes on their forehead was just inspiring. And I kind of miss that, if you if you grew up in church, the church as an adult can become rote and boring. Like, we're doing communion again, singing the doxology again, saying the Lord's Prayer again. Yum. But when thinking of a childlike faith, I often think of Lucy Pevensey from the Allegorical Chronicles of Narnia. When she finds Narnia, the first person she meets is Mr. Tumnus, who's a faun. And a faun is half goat, half man. And she could have run away or asked, what are you? Or screamed or something. But instead she says, good evening. That's the first thing she says, good evening. And she has tea with him. And maybe if we stop being so indifferent to people who are different than us, whether it be by race or religion or sexual orientation or whatever, and we said good evening to them and had tea with them, not maybe, the world would be a better place. 100% sure it would be. And also today in church, we talked about believing in God versus believing God. And this story was about Abram and Sarah and wanting a child but not being able to. So them believing in God but not believing God could give them one. And my pastor talked about how there's probably some in church that have either gone through this or are now of wanting children and not being able to for whatever reason. And that's me completely. And the sleeve of my choir robe was stained with my tears. And I was very close multiple times from leaving the service because, choir loft and crying, not really great. And I often get negative reactions from people, especially fellow Christians, who tell me to wait and God has a plan. And it hurts that they don't acknowledge that my soul is in pain. But I don't know, maybe I need to start believing God more. And maybe I need to stop being so indifferent towards his current plan for me, which has me single, completely, and childless, and working at 2 jobs that are great, but don't seem to fully use my spiritual gifts of creativity and empathy and my absolute love of working with children, using those to their full abilities. And Lent, it's a time of soul searching and changing back from sin and wrongness and things that keep you from God and moving back to God and finding out more of what it means to be Christ-like and such. And it's hard. It's super hard. And I hope it gets better, and I hope for you, all of your struggles and pain and all, it's real. I'm not going to ever discount anyone's pain as not being real, but I hope it gets better. I really do. And I also hope you all have a good week. It'll be good to hear from you all soon, hear what the new topic is. All right, bye.